Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to study the two types of beams which are used in the steel structure designing, that is the laterally supported and unsupported beams. So let's start. So, so the beams are an important part of the load transfer mechanism in any structure, and particularly if they are of the steel structures. Now the beams can be classified into two, that is the laterally supported beams or the laterally unsupported beams. Now the name itself says that if it is supported on the lateral direction, then that will be known as the laterally supported beam, and if it is not, then that will be known as the laterally unsupported beam. So for any Cartesian axis, let's say this is the coordinate system that we are familiar with. Now in this beam is lying along the x-axis. So the load will be applied in the transverse direction. So this direction which is out of plane, either in this positive direction or in the negative direction, these two will be known as the lateral direction. So when the load is there, this beam will be showing the deflection in the transverse direction. So let's say this is the beam. So this beam will be showing the transverse deflection. So this beam will be showing the transverse deflection, and it will be showing also the lateral deflection. Now to prevent this lateral deflection, we support the beams on the lateral side with the help of certain bracings or any other phenomena which may support the deflection in the lateral direction. So this bracing, if it is provided at the end or at the supports, that is known as the support bracing, and if it is provided in the middle portion, then that is known as the intermediate bracing. So based upon the type of support which is provided, or the support whether it is provided or not, they are classified into laterally supported beams and the laterally unsupported beams. Now one by one we will discuss the design methodology of both of them. So starting with the laterally supported beams. So first one is the laterally supported beams. Now in the laterally supported beams, we are aware that the beam will be supported in the lateral direction. So in the given clause of the, now in the Indian standard of 800 2007 edition, clause number 8.2.1 deals with the designing of the laterally supported beams. Now the first point that is to be calculated in the case of the laterally supported beams is regarding the design bending strength. That means what will be the strength of the beam in the bending. Now this design bending strength is further classified under two heads, that is the low shear or the high shear. Now this low shear is to be checked out. So for that what we do, we compare the externally applied force, that is the ultimate or the factored shear force, that should be less than the 0.6 times the design capacity of the section. Now this design capacity of the section, this is the design capacity of the section. So this design capacity of the section, that is denoted by Vd, it is equal to Fy by root 3. We have already discussed that whenever we are talking about the shear capacity, that has to be taken by the term Fy by root 3. And since we are using the limit state method, that's why we will be applying a factor of safety, that is of gamma m naught, into the area of the web section, since only the web will be transferring the shear force. So this will give us the design capacity of the section. Now we will take the 60% of this value and compare it that with the factored shear force. And if that factored shear force is less than the 0.6 times the Vd value, then that will be classified as a low shear beam. Now in case of the low shear beam, the design bending strength, that is denoted by Md, that will be calculated by the formula that is given by beta b into zp into Fy divided by gamma m naught. So the design bending strength for the low shear case, that will be given by beta B into ZP into Fy divided by gamma m naught. Now in this beta B is a constant which is taken depending upon the type of section. So if this section is classified as the plastic or compact section, then that value will be taken as equal to 1.0, and if it is the semi-compact section, then this value will be taken as equal to ZE by ZP ratio. Now the ZE and ZP are the elastic section modulus and the plastic section modulus respectively. So by putting all the values in this formula, we will be calculating the design bending strength of the beam in low shear case. And Fy here is the yield strength of the steel material, and gamma m naught is the partial factor of safety used for the steel material, and which is generally taken to be equal to 1.0. And this MD value that we will be calculating, that should be less than 1.2 times ZeFy divided by gamma m naught, or it should be less than 1.5 times ZeFy divided by gamma m naught. Now the first case will be used when the given beam is a simply supported beam. Then we will be comparing the design bending strength with this limitation, and if this is a cantilever beam, if the given beam is a cantilever beam, then we will compare this design bending strength with this limiting value of 1.5 ZE into Fy divided by gamma m naught. Now this ZE and ZP, these are the elastic section modulus and the plastic section modulus respectively. Now in the second case, that is of high shear, that means if we compare the factored shear force with the 0.6 times the design shear force or the design capacity of the section, and if that factored shear force comes out to be greater than that value, in that case the beam is said to be under high shear. And in this case the design bending strength of the beam is taken to be equal to the design shear strength of the beam under high shear, which is denoted by MdV. Now this MdV is to be further calculated depending upon the type of section. So if the type of section is plastic or compact, then this design bending strength due to high shear, that will be calculated by the relation, that is MD minus beta. We will be deducting a certain factor from the actual capacity, and that will be given by MD minus MFD, and it will be multiplied with the beta value. And if the beam is simply supported, then this value should be less than 1.2 times ZeFy upon gamma m naught. Now in this case, this beta, which is a constant value, that will be given by 2 times of V divided by Vd, where V is the beta will be given by 2 Vu by Vd, where Vu is the externally applied shear force and Vd is the design capacity of the section in shear, and its square. So this relation will give us the value of the beta, and that value of the beta will be put in this equation. Now we need to calculate this MFD value. Now there are two factors here, MD and MFD. So this MD value, that is the design moment of the whole section. So when we are considering the high shear case, so this is the design moment of the whole section, while this MFD, this is also the design moment, but it is calculated for the section by excluding the shear area. That means from the total area we will be deducting the shear area, and for that we will be getting the MFD value. So if we look at the relation for the MFD here, this MFD, that is the shear, that is the design bending strength, that is calculated with two relations depending upon the type of section that we are using. So it is given by d square TW divided by 4 into Fy, or it is given by capital D square into TW divided by 4 into Fy. Now this small d will be taken for the built up sections, and this capital D that will be taken for the rolled steel sections. Now we know that whenever we are talking about the rolled steel section, let's say this is an I section which is a rolled steel section. So for this rolled steel section, this depth of the web that is known as the small d, while the total depth from the edge of the flange to the bottom flange, that is given by capital D. So for the rolled steel section, since the total area is contributing towards the shear transmission, that's why we will be taking the total depth. While for the built up section, since this plate will be acting as separate, therefore we will be using the built up section. So we will be using small d for the built up section, since in the built up section we will be providing a gap at the joint. Now that was the first provision, that is for the plastic or the compact section. Now let's say if the section is semi-compact. So in this case, if the section is semi-compact, this MdV is calculated for the elastic section modulus, and that is given by Ze into Fy divided by gamma m naught. So that is how we will be calculating all the parameters required for the design of the laterally supported beams. Now if we look at the design steps for the laterally supported beams, that will be, so the designing steps for the laterally supported beams, based upon this we will be solving some numericals. So the first step is to calculate the load which is acting on the beam. So the factored loads are calculated by multiplying the suitable factor of safety. So in the very first step we will be calculating the factored load. So in the very first step we will be calculating the factored loads by multiplying the given load with the partial factor of safety for the load. After that we will be calculating the maximum bending moment and shear force for the type of beam which is given to us. If that is a simply supported beam which is subjected to UDL, then obviously the maximum bending moment is obtained at the center, and that value is given by WL square by 8. Similarly, for the cantilever or any other type of beam, we will be calculating the maximum bending moment and the shear force. After that, a trial plastic section is assumed. After that, a trial plastic section is taken for the designing purpose, and that is selected based upon the value of the bending moment. So let's say the bending moment value that we are getting, that is denoted by MD. So this MD divided by Fy divided by gamma m naught, which is the reduced shear strength. So that is giving us the plastic section modulus, and based upon this plastic section modulus, we will be choosing a suitable section from the handbook number 6. So a suitable section is chosen from the booklet. After calculating the section modulus, we will be choosing a suitable section from the Indian Standard Handbook number 1 or the special publication number 6. Now in the next step we will classify the section whether it is plastic, compact or semi-compact. So in the next step we will classify the section depending upon the different parameters. After that, after classifying the section, we will calculate the design shear capacity of this section, which is given by Fy by root 3 into gamma m naught into D into Tw. Now we will compare the externally applied shear force with the 0.6 times of the Vd. So based upon that we will classify whether it is a low shear case or the high shear case, and depending upon the case that we are getting, we will calculate the design bending strength for that particular section. So that means in the next step we will be calculating the design bending strength depending upon the low shear or the high shear case. And if the externally applied moment is greater than MD value, then we need to repeat this step. We need to repeat the process of designing from the step number 4. That means we need to again choose a suitable section, and then we need to again classify the section, and again we need to calculate this design bending strength. And once we have calculated this design bending strength, then the section is checked, once we have got the design bending strength, then the section is checked for the three criteria, which are usually the serviceability criteria, that is the deflection, then web buckling, and in the last we will be checking for the web crippling. So these are the three criteria in which we will be checking our section, and if the section is okay in all of these criteria, that means the beam section that we have chosen is correct. Now the next type of beam which will be used in the steel structure, that is known as the laterally unsupported beams. So the next type of beams used for the steel structure, that is classified under the head of the laterally unsupported beams. Obviously, if the beam is not laterally supported or it is not prevented from the lateral deflection, then that type of beam is known as the laterally unsupported beams. And the design bending strength, and in this case, so if the beam is not laterally supported to prevent the lateral deflection, that is the buckling, then there will be no shear check, and that's why the laterally unsupported beams do not have any case as the low shear or the high shear. We will directly calculate the design bending strength. So the bending strength for the laterally unsupported beams, that is directly calculated by the relation, that is MD is equal to ZE into Fy divided by gamma m naught. Now in this case, this Fy that we usually take, that is replaced by certain relation, and that is given by MD is equal to beta B into ZE. So this design bending strength for the laterally unsupported beams is calculated by the relation, that is beta B into ZP into FBD. Now here this beta B again is 1.0 for plastic and the compact section, while it is equal to ZE upon ZP for the semi-compact section. And this FBD, this is the design bending compressive stress, which is given by XLT into Fy divided by gamma m naught, which is another factor for the stress calculation. So this FBD is the design bending compressive stress. Now this XLT is the bending stress reduction factor. Now this XLT is the bending stress reduction factor, which is calculated for the lateral torsional buckling. That's why the symbols have been used as LT, that is for the lateral torsional buckling. Now this XLT is calculated from the Codal provision, and the formula for that is given as XLT is equal to 1 upon phi LT plus square root of phi LT square plus lambda LT square. That means the square of the phi square, the square of the lateral torsional buckling coefficients, and that value of XLT should be less than equal to 1.0. Now this phi LT, which is another reduction factor, that is given by the relation 0.5 into 1 plus alpha LT, that is the imperfection factor for the lateral torsional buckling into the slenderness ratio for the lateral torsional buckling minus 0.2 plus lambda LT square. This complete term gives us the value for the phi LT. Now this alpha LT is the imperfection factor for the lateral torsional buckling, and this imperfection factor is having two values depending upon the type of section. So it is equal to 0.21 for the rolled steel section, and it is equal to 0.49 for the welded section. So for rolled section, that means the section which are readily available, and for the welded section, that means the section that we will be building up, that are known as the built up section. So for those build up section, the value of the imperfection factor will be taken as equal to 0.49, while the value of the rolled steel section, while the value for the rolled steel section, that will be taken as equal to 0.21. Now this lambda LT, that is a non-dimensional slenderness ratio, and the formula for that, or the relation for that, and the relation for that is given by beta B into ZP into Fy divided by the M critical. That means at the critical section, that moment we will be getting, and this complete value should be less than equal to 1.2 ZE Fy divided by M critical, and this complete square root, or this lambda LT, that is the non-dimensional slenderness ratio, is also given by the relation of Fy and F critical in buckling. Now, according to the clause number 8.2.2.1, which deals with the laterally unsupported beams, this M critical, which we are using in this relation, that is calculated by a big formula that is given by pi square EIY divided by the effective span in lateral torsional buckling. And the second term in continuation is G, that is the modulus of rigidity, into the twisting constant for the lateral torsional buckling, into pi square into Young's modulus into the warping constant, that is IW, divided by the again the effective length in lateral torsional buckling, and the complete square root of this term, and that should be equal to beta B into ZP into F critical B. So from the relation, either we can calculate directly M critical, and based upon that we will be calculating this non-dimensional slenderness ratio. And if we get this non-dimensional slenderness ratio, then we will be calculating the F critical in buckling. So based upon these ratios, we will be able to calculate this. Now here IT and IW, these are the twisting and the warping constant that is to be taken care. Now this torsional constant, this is given by the summation of Bi into Ti cube divided by 3. While the warping constant, this is known as the torsional constant, which is given by the relation of Bi into Ti cube divided by 3, while this is known as the warping constant. Value of this warping constant, that is denoted by IW, that is given by 1 minus beta F into beta F into Iy into Hf square, where this beta F, that is again a relation that is of IFC, that is the moment of inertia of the compression side divided by the moment of inertia of the compression flange plus moment of inertia of the tension flange, and usually that value is equal to 0.5 since both the flanges are equal. Now this HF value, that is the center to center distance between the flanges. So let's say this is a rolled steel section, which is our I section. So the center to center distance between the flanges, that is given by this HF value. Now once we have got this beta F and HF value, and Iyy will be the moment of area about this axis, that is our YY axis. Now we will be replacing that value in this IW, and similarly we will be getting this IT value, that is the torsional constant. The IT and IW values will be reserved, and we will be calculating this M critical. Now once we have got all the values, we will be calculating this phi LT from the given lambda LT value and the alpha LT value, that is the imperfection vector value, and this phi LT value will be placed in this equation for the XLT, which is the bending stress reduction factor. Now this bending stress reduction factor will be used to calculate the design bending compressive stress. Now that value will be given by FBD, and this FBD value will be placed in this equation, with the help of which we will be calculating the design bending strength of the laterally unsupported beams. And the externally applied moment should be less than this design capacity of the section. If not, then we need to revise the entire section. So that's how we will proceed in the lateral unsupported beams. And now in the next video we will be looking at the examples of the laterally supported beams and the laterally unsupported beams, and in that all the doubts will be cleared. Thank you.